They can't keep getting away with it! And I don't think they will anymore. Because Fnatic's Abyss relies a lot on hitting this B site, and you're going to see that a lot in this game that they had against G2 at Red Bull Homeground. But it took G2 a while, but they finally figured out that actually there is a surefire way to stopping Fnatic's Abyss B hit. So we're going to take a look here at some rounds of Fnatic versus G2 on Abyss, and a lot of the rounds that we will see will look something like this one. Now in this one, Fnatic actually start with a mid default, as you are witnessing right in front of your eyes right now. But eventually, after some time, they will start to drift towards the B site. And Fnatic went B a ton in this game, right? There was this round, there was round 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Like, it was a lot of B hits, right? And if we take a look at this one, where we are right now, so Fnatic have, created a little bit of pressure in mid. They've, done the classic, oh, we're going to drone towards A. That means that we're going A, right, guys? Psych. We're actually going B. But you can tell in this instance, actually, G2 did start to believe it a bit. And we got our boy here, Baby Bay on Veto, trying to anchor over towards the B site. But you'll see he's completely on his own, right? No rotates are coming anytime soon. So he is going to have to kind of just give this up.
Compared to the Silver drone. Clears out the whole of mid.
Once again, they're going to be knocking on Baby Bay's door.
The stack is in entirely the wrong place, but Baby Bay's going to be out. Yeah, they can play full retake B.
TPs, they don't have to worry about the Rolling Thunder anymore.
And as Sideshow was whispering to you there for some reason, yeah, the breach ult comes in. Obviously, Baby Bay has to leave, and now G2 are left in a bit of a difficult situation, to be honest, because, the rotates are pretty far away. This isn't like they're going to be flood retake. The spike goes down quite easily. You've got Crashies inserted here in a lurk. It's quite a nice round overall from Fnatic, right? But now, as we watch G2 try and come back in here, obviously this B site has changed a little bit, right? Like, there's now a little corner in here that you have to clear. There's now, some positions like in these little tucked corners here that you can maybe now play. And of course, you still have to deal with all this. And Fnatic have inserted Crashies here on this lurk. So these B retakes, which was a very, very common way of playing over towards the B site. Well, now maybe they're not quite as easy as they once were, because there are a few more positions on site that you actually have to deal with.
It'll be tough too. I mean, he's got a dart, but he can't really contribute with it from where he is right now. Meanwhile, G2 starting to creep ever closer. Fault line down, Valen falls, Fnatic holding the line, at least for now. And now Crashies is on the prowl as well. Timing on this is everything.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, he's going to show up and the round will be done.
Yeah, he's not even needed, is he?
No, he's not.
Insurance policy.
So yeah, we can see there that even though G2 do have a comp, where they've got their smokes here, they've got quite a bit of breach util, they've got quite a bit of Teo util and Yoru util, right? And so you'd be like, oh, we've got enough here for this retake. As I say, some of those changes, we see come into effect here, where Alfir is able to hide and then, be able to play with his team. And so it means that, this retake ends up being completely one-sided. They don't even need, the late flank from Crashies really at all, right? It's very, very simple for them to manage to win this out. Kayak does a good job of, TPing back here, coming with the team. They get a few kills here, and they don't even really need Crashies. The round is already over. So playing for a kind of a full retake from G2 there, you saw got quite a bit harder, maybe isn't as easy as it once was on this site, and so that isn't a great solution. But now let's skip ahead to round number 19 here, where again, Fnatic have just geared up for this full exec, but this time we can see there's actually two people on site, so this time they're going to try and hold the site down.
Again, a lot of ults on the side of G2.
And here's the op.
In the hands of Baby Bay. Puts it right back down. Valen, though, very nice tracking. Able to punish back a little.
So in this one, we see, Baby Bay does miss a couple shots, which, maybe could have changed the tide in this round if, that wasn't going to be the case. Bit of an interesting dynamic here, right? When you've got your controller player here with an op, right? And sometimes we see this because, the way Valen wants to hold down this site is put a smoke up for himself, right? And be able to dip in and out of this smoke and kill people using it, right? But he doesn't want to smoke his op off. So when Baby Bay drops here, Baby Bay wants to take the shot, and Valen is aware of that. But when Baby Bay then misses the shot and dies, then Valen comes into the smoke. Whilst he is able to get one, ultimately it's a bit too late, and so they weren't able to hold the site. Now we end up in a 3v4, and again, it's a pretty difficult spot for these players to win, because you're doing this retake, but this time you don't have all the utility that you might, and again, you're dealing with situations like this, right? Where Kayak using this Yoru agent, who turns out to be pretty good, can tank some of that utility and then just completely dip out. And it turns out that's actually quite a strong ability in the game. And Vekash is going to show us his up potential there. So what we have seen here in these rounds is that, you know, G2 try to kind of, you know, full retake setup, didn't really work. This time they tried for a bit more of a side tanker setup with an op, also didn't work. Okay, so now let's skip ahead to round number 21, which is after G2 have lost another B hit coming in from Fnatic, and you see from the map that round 21 is looking much the same.
Yeah. The threat is here. Sogmo and Baby Bay both playing onto the site. Kayak pops out of his TP.
He's not gone for it though.
No.
Baby Bay did not commit the evolution there. Instead, just playing off the site for full retake, so they've gone back to that game plan. And now they're going to have Breach ultimate, they're going to have Silver ultimate. Baby Bay might use his ult to stick the defuse.
I guess, maybe.
Because then you don't have to worry about pull, you don't have to worry about the Silver ult.
The Rolling Thunder already paves the way. Crashies gets a pick with the Hunter's Fury. Now the second Rolling Thunder sending 1, 2, all 3 sky high.
Here comes Baby Bay.
Goes from the swing. You're right, Baby Bay gets the best of him. Alfier trying to hold on to the site. And there's another ult. There's Trent's ult. Alfier gets 2. He might get another. Pushes the smoke. Crashies gets the 1.
Vekash fell off the map.
He's got a 1v1 and Valen wins that out.
So this is actually one of the few rounds that G2 is able to win. But they do have to invest a lot to do it. And the way in which they win this round, well, I don't think if we replayed this a lot, it would have happened. One of the reasons that I want to show this round is because we get some veto value, and that's cool to see, right? New agent, let's see the veto doing something, because when Baby Bay pops this ult, he's actually going to be able to avoid the breach ult. But again, we see that essentially they are forced here somewhat because of the ults that Fnatic use to play for this full retake style again. Difference to the last, you know, retake that we saw is that they themselves now have 4 ults here for G2, and they are going to use them, right, to be able to clear this one out. So we get the Astral coming across here from Valen. You're going to get the Breach ult on site. Fnatic actually go for their own Astral Wall. It's absolute chaos on the site. Baby Bay is going to pop his ult, and so when now, you know, we get this Silver ult coming in from Fnatic, and we're going to get a Breach ult from them in a second as well, Baby Bay is unaffected by this. And this actually does make a difference in this round, because you'll see that Baby Bay, you know, should be hit by that breach ult, but isn't, and then is able to kind of take this timing that Boaster isn't expecting him to be here, right, and unaffected by the breach ult. So this is veto value here. Yes, they did end up winning this round, but I really think that they wouldn't have won this round if Vekash doesn't fall off the map. Or he's going to try and jump and hits Crashies, or, you know, something happens there, and he falls off the map. But we see that if that didn't happen, right, because Crashies gets his kill on Jogmo with the Shock Dart there, if this is a 2v1 now, Fnatic almost certainly win, right? It's going to require something pretty monumental to happen from this point. But, I mean, also, Crashies could win this situation. But even that, to me, was not like, oh, great, we figured it out, right? Very, very easily, that could have gone in Fnatic's favor instead. And to somewhat highlight this fact, we can actually come and take a look at the very next round, round number 22, where guess what Fnatic are going to do? They're going to end up coming over towards B again. So this one, again, they, you know, send a dart into mid. They try and create a bit of fake presence in towards the mid area, but we're going to see Jogmo here in a second. He's going to take an aggressive fight and manage to get that kill on Vekash and manage to disappear. And now they get into a 5v4. G2 again are happy to say, we'll play retake now. We feel very good about where we are with our retake. But just take a look at this, because this time a G2 player is going to fall off the map, making it a 4v4. But in this 4v4 retake, Fnatic find it pretty easy.
Now they're investing the other ult around it. Leaf slows down. Trent fell off the map now too.
Oh, that's wild.
What is happening in this game?
It's an unforced error in mid, bro. He's died in mid, falling down the gap.
Jogmo gets the best of Alfier. Kayak punches back. Valen left in 1v3.
And he can't go for it.
No, he can't.
So again, we see Alfier ult into spawn here, and for me this is a bit too easy. They're already a player down. They might try something, right? And I think particularly now, like, teams have gotten good at realizing, and now particularly that the Yoru, you know, the way that the Yoru works here, essentially, right, is now when you ult on this Yoru, the Yoru cannot help, right? This is going to be, it already was the case with good teams last year, but now especially everyone should be doing this, everyone and their nan, is where if you get Yoru ulted, you should just push forward, right? Because this guy, this Yoru now, he can spot you, but he can't help, right? He can't throw a flash. He can't do nothing. Like this should have been a situation that G2 were much more prepared for, and they weren't. And from here, you know, it's very, very simple, you know, for Fnatic to close it out. And it's another example of, like, you know, this retake style not really working out that well. So then, what is the solution? Well, they figured it out in the very last round of the game. And so what did they do? Well, here it is. It's 14-13, and Fnatic are going to start this one off a little bit slower. Again, kind of, you know, pressuring in towards mid here. They actually forced G2 to double TP away here with the Yoru and the Veto. But keep that in mind. The G2, their initial plan here, if you just come and take a look at it again, was getting these two aggressively. Now, they both get revealed by that Silver Dot, so they both feel like they have to TP away. But they stick with the plan, right? They had finally figured it out. What is the solution to this Fnatic B hit? The solution is the map has changed. This exists. And this is a counter to every B hit, right? If you can get a defender inserted in here nice and early, well, good luck going B. We are going to see a lot of comps like Fnatic these days that are no Senti comps, right? So they're not going to have necessarily, you know, a trip set up somewhere in here, right? We are going to see a lot of those comps where this is a gap. And if you can exploit that gap, you'll be in a very, very good position.
Yes. Don't worry, that wasn't someone falling off the map. It was Hippo. But I'd forgive you for thinking it was.
Leaf has his fault line up here. They're going to try to swing behind that. Meanwhile, Airfare team backside. Jogamo gets a pick.
Very fast flank.
Numbers advantage for the way of the defense. Remember, this has been the ever elusive round win on this side.
They double flanked with both of their teleport players.
And then left. Drake gets another. Fnatic trying to hold on as best as they can, and it seems like every single brick.
So again, just look at the difference here of this round and how convincing it looks for G2 versus some of the rounds, you know, that we just seen previously. Because I mean, obviously, any round where you get like a literal free kill, yeah, it's going to feel quite a bit better. But this is the thing, when you're playing this comp that they're playing as well, particularly with like a Yoru Veto, this should be very common. Like, if a team is abusing B against you, this should be like probably your main answer to it. And this becomes now a massive threat. And you think about this from Fnatic's perspective of Boaster is going to have to constantly worry about this. Right, he's constantly worried that people are going to come this way. He's now locked into this position because he's constantly worried. And it's also going to force these guys to think, well, we're in a 4v5, and this, you know, we're getting heavy pressure from behind now. So we have to go and aggro this. But as we can see, both those players TP'd back, so actually they have a numbers advantage here. And what happens is pretty obvious, that this is the likely outcome. Right, the Fnatic, they don't know at this point. You could be here, you could be on the flank. We don't fully know. We don't know until this point where we've actually seen those players. Oh no, they've gone back. But by then it's too late. It's a 2v4. And now in a 2v4, you know, this is a lot easier. Right, you know where Boaster is as well. They kill him. And now, well, we actually end up with the more veto value because the Interceptor just destroys the dart there from Crashies. They just stick it all the way and they win the game. And that, my friends, is the crucial detail. And by the way, yes, I am still waiting for someone to play Viper on this map and put up this Viper wall that goes across A and mid. Because again, if you can do this, that is monumental pressure. I've seen a lot of people, you know, start out with some default where someone gets left like here on this angle, right? So they're going to be left here for these B hits just to check this if someone's walking this way. And then if no one does walk that way, they then become this late lurk, right? I've seen this, you know, a couple times now from teams on Abyss, and it seems like a fairly popular strategy. It makes sense to do, right? Well, this Viper wall just stops you from doing that. Constantly, you can be threatening to be doing this, and or, you know, then aggro through mid itself as well through your own Viper wall. So I really want to see someone do this. I think that it's a great use of Viper on this map. I know that Viper hasn't been that popular on Abyss, but I really do think that that Viper wall is strong enough to where you actually might consider playing her solely for that reason.